bringing down the music and bringing up the main camera. And welcome, everyone. I am not Kahlil Gibran. I am Joel K. Welcome to another Sunday night edition of Accessibly Live, the book club reading room. Hope everyone's having a really good weekend. The first full weekend, actually second full weekend of November. We're running towards the end of the year. A reminder that when the holidays hit, right before, the celebration of Christmas for those, we will have a classic production being shown that night, movie, of A Christmas Carol, Scrooge. And hope you guys like it. Something fun for, the Christmas Eve. We'll be doing that live here on the show. Sorry, it's just been running around I traipsed across campus today over up at Duluth, and it was a mess. Everybody get ready with the cold weather and everything else blowing in. It was a mess today. It was a mess over on the campus. We have, like I said, we are going to be talking and doing tonight Kahlil Gibran. He is a poet, statesman. He's really just a very unique and very soulful individual. Kahlil Gibran was born January 6th, 1883, and died April 10th, 1931. He lived a long life and accomplished a lot of things in his life. He was a poet, a visual artist, American writer, newspaper writer, and philosopher. Born in the area of Lebanon, his works encompassed many of his beliefs and ideologies. His writing is soulful. His writing makes you stop and think. And his poetry and his storytelling are often rhythmic in nature. I would love to have actually met him. It would have been an interesting just to hear his thoughts, especially nowadays with all the violence and all the crap going on over in Israel and in Palestine and all of that, to see what his views and thoughts would have been. It would have been interesting. We've got about 5 or 6 of his short stories and poetic writings tonight. Won't be too bad. I've got something special next week we're going to do. Because we're getting so close to the end of the year, and January 1st is rolling around, what we're going to do next week is talk about 2026. And what we're going to do next week is look at some of the movies, books, and programs that are going to be released into public domain, which I will be able to do for you. Kind of excited by that. But let's get started, shall we? And let's read a few selections of the writings of Kahlil Gibran. Sorry, guys. Our first, The Astronomer. In the shadow of the temple, my friend and I saw a blind man sitting alone. And my friend said, "Behold the wisest man of our land." Then I left my friend and approached the blind man and greeted him, and we conversed. After a while, I said, "Forgive my question, but since when hast thou been blind?" "From birth," he answered. Said I, "And what path of wisdom followest thou?" He said, "I am an astronomer. I place Then he placed his hand upon his breast, saying, I watch all these suns and moons and stars. The next of his writings, The Great Longing. Here I sit between my brother the mountain and my sister the sea. We three are one in loneliness, and the love that binds us together is deep and strong and strange. Nay, it is deeper than my sister's depth, and stronger than my brother's strength, and stranger than the strangeness of my madness. Eons upon eons have passed since the first gray dawn made us visible to one another, and though we have seen the birth and the fullness and the death of many worlds, we are still eager and young. We are eager and young, and yet we are mateless and unvisited, and through we lie in unbroken half embrace, we are uncomforted. And what comfort is there for controlled desire, an unspent passion? Whence shall come the flaming God to warm my sister's bed? And what she torrent shall quench my brother's fire? And who is the woman that shall command my heart? In the stillness of the night, my sister murmurs in her sleep the fire god's unknown name, and my brother calls afar upon the cold and distant goddess. But upon whom I call in my sleep, I know not. Here I sit between my brother the mountain and my sister the sea. We three are one in loneliness, and the love that binds us together is deep and strong and strange. Kahlil Gibran, The Great Longing. The next is by Kahlil Gibran, The Eye. Said the eye one day, I see beyond the valleys a mountain veiled with blue mist. Is it not beautiful? The ear listened, and after listening intently a while, said, But where is any mountain? I do not hear it. Then the hand spoke and said, I am trying in vain to feel it or touch it, and I cannot find no mountain. And the nose said, There is no mountain, I cannot smell it. Then the eye turned the other way, and they all began to talk together about the eye's strange delusion. And they said, Something must be the matter with the eye. Sometimes not everyone can see what one sees. Moral of the story. The next, by Kahlil Gibran, The Two Learned Men. Once there lived in the ancient city of Afkar two learned men who hated and belittled each other's learning. For one of them denied the existence of the gods, and the other was a believer. One day the two met in the marketplace, and amidst their followers they began to dispute and to argue about the existence or the non-existence of the gods. And after hours of contention, they parted. That evening, the unbeliever went to the temple and prostrated himself before the altar and prayed the gods to forgive his wayward past. And the same hour, the other learned man, who had upheld the gods, burned his sacred books, for he became an unbeliever. Sometimes the voice of someone can sway or dissuade someone in their ideology. And sometimes that's not a bad thing, to open your mind to new possibilities. The next, from the selection of writings of Kahlil Gibran, When My Sorrow Was Born. When my sorrow was born, I nursed it with care and watched over it with loving tenderness. And my sorrow grew like all living things, strong and beautiful and full of wondrous delights. And we loved one another, my sorrow and I, and we loved the world about us. For sorrow had a kindly heart, and mine was kindly with sorrow. And we conversed, my sorrow and I. Our days were winged, and our nights were girdled with dreams, for sorrows had an eloquent tongue, and mine was eloquent with sorrow. When we sang together, my sorrow and I, our neighbors sat at their windows and listened, for our songs were deep as the sea, and our melodies were full of strange memories. And when we walked together, my sorrow and I, gazed at us with gentle eyes and whispered in words of exceeding sweetness. And there were those who looked upon us with envy, for sorrow was a noble thing, and I was proud with sorrow. But my sorrow died, like all living things, and alone I am left to muse and ponder. And now when I speak of my words fall heavily upon my ears, and when I sing my songs my neighbors come not to listen. And when I walk the streets no one looks at me. Only in my sleep I hear voices saying in pity, "See, there lies the man whose sorrow is dead." Sometimes when we lose our sorrow, we gain much more in something entirely different. The next, by Kahlil Gibran, The Perfect World. God of lost souls, thou who are lost amongst the gods, hear me. Gentle destiny that watches over us, mad wandering spirits, hear me. I dwell in midst of a perfect race, and the most imperfect. I am human chaos, a nebula of confused elements. I move amongst finished worlds, people who complete laws in pure order, whose thoughts are assorted, whose dreams are arranged, and whose visions are enrolled and registered. Their virtues, O God, are measured, their sins are weighed, and even the countless things that pass in the dim twilight of neither sin nor virtue are recorded and catalogued. Here days and nights are divided into seasons of conduct and governed by rules of blameless accuracy. To eat, to drink, to sleep, to cover one's nudity, and then to be weary in due time. To work, to play, to sing, to dance, and then to lie still when the clock strikes the hour. To think thus, to feel this much, and then to cease thinking and feeling when a certain star rises beyond yonder horizon. To rob a neighbor with a smile, to bestow gifts and graceful wave of the hand, to praise prudently, to blame cautiously, to destroy a sound with a word, to burn a body with a breath, then wash the hands when the day's work is done. To love accordingly to an established order, to entertain one's best self in a preconceived manner, to worship the gods becomingly, to intrigue the devils artfully, and then to forget all as though memory was dead. To fancy with a motive, to contemplate with consideration, to be happy, sweet, to suffer nobly, and then to empty the cup so that tomorrow may fill it again. All these things, O God, are conceived with forethought, born with determination, nursed with exactness, governed by rules, directed by reason, and then slain and buried with a prescribed method. And even their silent graves that lie within the human soul are marked and numbered. It is a perfect world, a world of consummate excellence, a world of supreme wonders, the ripest fruit in the God's garden, the master thought of the universe. But why should I be here, O God? I, a green seed of unfulfilled passion, a mad tempest that seeketh neither east nor west, a bewildered fragment from a burnt planet. Why am I here, O God of lost souls, thou who art amongst the gods? We have a couple more here. Defeat. Defeat, my solitude, my aloofness. You are dearer to me than 1,000 triumphs, and sweeter to my heart than all world glory. Defeat, my self-knowledge and my defiance. Through you I know that I am yet young and swift of foot, and not to be tramped by withering laurels. And in you I have found aloneness, and the joy of being shunned and scorned. Defeat, my shining sword and shield. In your eyes I have read that to be enthroned is to be enslaved, to be understood is to be leveled down, to be grasped is but to reach one's fulfillment, and like a ripe fruit to fall and be consumed. Defeat, my bold companion. You shall hear my songs and my cries and my silences, and none of you shall speak to me of the beating of wings and urging of seas, and the mountains that burn in the night. And you alone shall climb my steep and rocky soul. Defeat, my deathless courage. You and I shall laugh together with the storm, and together we shall dig graves for all that die in us. We shall stand in the sun with a will, and we shall be dangerous. That, Kahlil Gibran, the poem Defeat. And lastly, for the works of tonight of Kahlil Gibran, Night and the Madman. I am like thee, O night, dark and naked. I walk on the flaming path which is above my daydreams, and whenever my foot touches earth, a giant oak tree comes forth. Nay, thou art not like me, O madman, for you still look'st backwards to see how large a footprint thou leavest in the sand. I am like thee, O night, silent and deep, and in the heart of my loneliness lies a goddess in childbed, and in him who is being born heaven touches hell. Nay, thou art not like me, O madman, for thou shudderst yet before pain, and the songs of the abyss terrifies thee. I am like thee, O night, wild and terrible, for my ears are crowded with the cries of the conquered nations and sighs for the forgotten lands. Nay, thou art not like me, O madman, for thou still takest thyself, little self, for a comrade, and with thy monster self thou canst be friend. I am like thee, O night, cruel and awful, for my bosom is lit with burning ships at sea, and my lips are wet with the blood of slain warriors. Nay, you are not like me, O madman, for the desire for a sister spirit is yet upon thee, and thou hast not become alone unto thyself. I am like thee, O night, joyous and glad, for he who dwells in my shadow is now drunken with virgin wine, and she who follows me is sinning mirthfully. Nay, thou art not like me, O madman, for thy soul is wrapped in a veil of seven folds, and thou holdest not the heart in thy hand. I am like thee, O night, passionate and patient, for in my breast 1,000 dead lovers are buried in shrouds of withered kisses. Yea, madman, art thou like me? Art thou like me? And canst thou ride the tempest as a steed, and grasp the lightning as a sword? Like thee, O night, like thee, mighty and high, and my throne is built upon heaps of fallen gods. Before he to pass the days to kiss the hem of my garment, but never to gaze upon my face. Art thou like me, child of my darkest heart, and dost thou think my untamed thoughts and speak of vast languages? Yea, we are twin brothers, O night, for thou revelest in space, and I reveal my soul. Night and the Madman. One last quick one. Here. This final working by Kahlil Gibran is entitled Faces. I have seen a face with 1,000 countenance, and a face that was but a single countenance if held in a mold. I have seen a face whose sheen I could look through to the ugliness beneath, and a face whose sheen I had to lift to see how beautiful it was. I have seen an old face much lined with nothing, and a smooth face in which all things were graven. I know faces because I look through the fabric of my own eye weaves, and behold the reality beneath. I hope you like that. Like I said, this was a very simple, very fun little episode for the book club reading room. A selection of writings of Kahlil Gibran. I would highly recommend a lot of his writings. He is well known for many things, including if you love something, set it free. If it returns to you, it was yours. But if it flies off and never returns, it was never yours. A little bit of paraphrasing, but Kahlil Gibran. I hope you like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. As with every time when we do the shows here, we really appreciate you guys stopping by. Next week, as I mentioned, we will be discussing 2026. There is a big announcement next week for the show, or for 2026. Normally, we do on our anniversary at the end of January. We do one specific reading. We read one of the Hardy Boys mysteries. This year, we will be doing something different and something similar. And I'm excited for you guys to stop by and, watch and enjoy. I lost something here. I was going to remind everybody when you guys get a chance to. Yeah, you just love it when your computer system kind of freezes up on you and you lose something. Oh, goodness gracious. So, like I said, one of those days, guys, the cold weather that's coming through the upper Midwest is kind of freezing my brains down. And for the life of me, I can't find something. Um, that son of a gun. Well, if you guys, and I found it just as I'm about ready to say by myself, if you guys get a chance, and I appreciate everybody who stops in, we will be celebrating year 3 this coming January. And as I said, with that anniversary, we will start something fun and something amazing. Don't forget, we have a movie, maybe 2, during the holiday season this year. And I think you guys are going to like it. I think you're going to like it. If you get a chance, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out 110%. And it helps the algorithm. So just click the like button and subscribe. Tell your friends to stop by as well. We are going to get out of here. We appreciate everybody who stopped in on this Sunday night. For those of you who are dealing with the Arctic winds and cold that's drifting in from our wonderful friends in the north, good luck, drive safe. And we will, we'll see you next week with more of Accessibly Live, the book club reading room. Before we go, one final quote. And that quote, like we do every night, is a quote from Kahlil Gibran. Yes, there is nirvana. It is in leading your sheep to a green pasture, and in putting your child to sleep, and in writing the last line of your poem. Yes, there is nirvana. When it is in leading your sheep to a green pasture, in putting your child to sleep, and in writing your last line of poem. Kahlil Gibran. For those of us who write, for you who are writing projects, papers, research grants for high school, college, post-college, anything that you guys are working on, I wish you well. I wish you bon chance, mes amis. Knock 'em dead. Have a good year in school this year. Really do. With all the crazy stuff going on out there, I wish everybody just a wonderful night. This is Accessibly Live, the book club reading room, every single Sunday night, live here. And once in a while, if we get a chance to, we will be getting back to the library. For somebody who stopped me on the green of the walkways around the campus at the UMD, They asked me why I'm not in the library, because they are having some major electrical issues. It happens. And some Wi-Fi that's causing a bit of headaches. And so it's safer doing these shows right now in the studio here. But we are expecting, hopefully, to get into the studio within a week or so. Keeping our fingers crossed. Time to get out of here. Be well, be safe, be kind. Take care, you guys. There is so much garbage in the world going on. Take a deep breath and realize that you guys can overcome. As Kahlil Gibran said, find your nirvana. Find it in that simple thing that makes you smile. For me, it's being here with you guys. Take care, you guys. Be well, be safe, be kind. We will see you all on Thursday for Accessibly Live, the conversation station, and next Sunday here on Twitch and YouTube for the Book Club Reading Room. Take care, you guys.